Welcome to a brand new season of live.thecode.uk. In this season, we're going to be using Python's Turtle graphics module to explore some of the more advanced features of Python that students at GCSE level tend to struggle with. So it's all about taking you from beginner to confident at Python. Most people won't start with this season, so it's worth bearing in mind that season 1 of live.code.uk was loads of random activities through lockdown. Most people start at the beginning of season 2, so that goes through the basics of Python. Season 3 is about preparing for that on-screen Python practical exam that students doing the Edexcel GCSE Computer Science will do in Year 11. Season 4 was working through some of the advanced features of Python, things that people tend to struggle with, like dealing with two-dimensional data structures, processing data from files, string formatting. We've looked at Turtle graphics quite a few times in the past, but this whole this whole season is about being creative with code and using Turtle graphics to explore, again, some of those advanced features of Python at GCSE level. So by the end of this week's episode, we are going to use some basic shapes to draw a turtle using the Turtle graphics module in Python. So the starting point was to use Inkscape, which is a free program, to draw a rough vector graphic that we're going to use as inspiration for this. This is going to be live coding, so I'll start not quite from a blank canvas. The idea is that you'll be able to see not just what the code is, but where the code comes from, all of the thought processes behind it. Okay, so that's our starting point. I'll leave the challenges in for the end of the video. We're going to use the Turtle graphics module a lot, but bear in mind, if you're doing Edexcel GCSE Computer Science, you don't need to remember any Python, because you'll be given a digital and a printed copy of the programming language subset, which you can use in your exam to be able to search for things. So if we search for Turtle graphics, you can see we've got pages and pages of information. We don't need to remember this stuff. We just need to be familiar with it and understand it enough to know what we're doing. Okay, so we've imported the Turtle module. We need an object to draw with. I'm going to call it T to keep it short and simple. We need to go inside the Turtle module, create a new Turtle object, and then we can draw with it, something like t.forwards, however far we say, that turtle will obey and move. Right, let's think about some decomposition here. I'm going to start by drawing the things that are furthest away from us. So, if we do some decomposition, zoom out so that the comments, there we go, that's better, they all fit on one line. Let's draw the feet and the tail. Above that is the shell for the turtle, and then on top of that is the head, and that'll do. Right, how do we draw the feet and the tail? Well, it looks like a circle, but it's filled in. So wouldn't it be nice if we could just say fill a circle? We can say the x and y coordinates, the position, and say how big it is, the radius of the circle, and we can say the colour. This is why I used Inkscape, so I can copy and paste these colour codes here. You could write something like green, but I want to be much more specific here. And this is a hexadecimal code with the amount of red light, the amount of green light, the amount of blue light, and it's beyond GCSE level transparency. We're going to get rid of transparency and just have opaque, not see-through colours. However, Python doesn't know how to fill a circle yet because we haven't told it how to. That sounds like a job for a subprogram. Right, we've called fill circle. You can't call it until you've defined it. So let's tell Python the definition of fill circle. I can type properly. Right, at this point, there are no parameters, but there are 4 arguments. Arguments, that's the data that we pass into the procedure or function. And parameters are just names for those values when you receive them. So first we need a parameter for the x position, the x coordinate, and then the y coordinate, the radius, so the P here stands for parameter, and then the colour. Now I'm British, so I'm using the British spelling, but bear in mind you'll see the American spelling wherever it's built into the Turtle module. Right, what do we want to happen? I would like the turtle to be lifted up, to teleport, to go to the parameter x and y, and then we can put the turtle back down again. If we didn't do this, we would draw a line from where we are to where we want to get to. I don't want that to happen. Then I want to draw a circle. How big is that circle going to be? Oops, Control C, not Control X. It's defined by the radius. So we're getting there. Let's maximize this to fill the space a little bit better. Right, so I have a circle, but it's not in that color yet. Okay, this is where we have to use the American spelling because this is built into the Turtle module, but also the British spelling because that's a parameter I have defined myself. Right, it's in green, the right shade of green, but it's got a white fill. So for this to happen, let's say that we're going to begin drawing something here. After we finish drawing it, we can end the fill so that all of that drawing is going to be filled in. Fab. All right, it looks a bit too big for the 2 feet and the tail, so let's make it a bit smaller. Down here we can specify the size, so is that going to be too big? No, I think that'll be all right. Let's have 2 of them for both feet. The one on the left I'm going to move across to the left. The one on the right I'm going to move across to the right, and I'm going to get bored waiting for the turtle to draw unless I speed it up. So there we go, it goes much faster now. I think both of these feet need to go down, so that's moving up. Let's make that -50, better. And then we need a tail, so the tail is going to be over on the right, maybe a bit further to the right, and a bit further up. So how about just 0? Yeah, not terrible, we'll see. We'll only really know when we draw the shell. The shell's going to be on top of these pictures, top of these circles. Right, let's put it in the middle for now just to see. Let's guess at 100. Yeah, not the right place and definitely not the right colour. What colour is it? Let's see. We'll take off the transparency. Looks like we've just got dark green here. Let's move it down by increasing the y parameter. It's the second argument that we pass in to something like that. Yeah, not bad, but perhaps too big. Let's go 80. Yeah, that looks all right. Okay, so now I want a smaller circle over to the left. So what colour was the head? That's a light green. So let's start with that value. It needs to be a bit smaller again and further to the left. So minus number, I don't know, something like that. A bit further maybe, a bit higher up and a bit smaller. Yeah, okay, but maybe a bit higher up. Looking pretty good. Right, now I'd like some eyes. So the white part of the eye is called the sclera. For white, I'm going to switch on the red light, the green light and the blue light. Make it quite small, a bit higher up and a bit further to the left. Yeah, looks all right. And the black part of the eye inside the white part is the pupil. To get black, I switch off all of the lights. So it should be 6 zeros. That looks right to me. Hopefully, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, good. But it needs to be smaller so it fits inside. That looks pretty good. Right, I would like the beginning of a little cap that goes on top. I'll draw it behind the head, so I have to put it above these lines so that these circles will be drawn on top of it. Oops. If I want red, that's switching all of the red lights on and the green lights and the blue lights off. How big? Let's go for 20. Now I just saw the red, but it's directly underneath the green, so let's move it up by quite a lot until we can see it. Too much? 60 maybe? Yeah, not terrible. I think the whole of the head should move across to the left. So how about that? Yeah, it looks good, but now the eye needs to move across as well. And then the hat needs to move across. Yeah, but maybe not that much. Yeah, okay. I'm reasonably happy with that. All I want now is a little pink mouth. Oh, did I copy and paste? I think I did. But I don't want it to be exactly the same place as the I, but just a little bit further down. So I'm going to increase the Y coordinate. Decrease the Y coordinate, but not that much. Yeah, I think that looks okay. All right, so your challenge. I would like you, rather than drawing more circles, can you define your own subprogram to draw a rectangle? You would need some parameters for the X and the Y and the width and the height rather than the radius, and you'll need the color as well, so that you can draw a rectangle at the bottom of this cap. If you want to do it at a jaunty angle, you can. Just do t.right and then like 5 degrees to rotate it before you draw your rectangle. That'll be fine. If you can draw a rectangle, it's actually really easy to draw a hexagon. It's just going to be a loop that repeats 6 times, moves forwards, rotates by a certain angle, and then fills it in. And then you can improve the drawing any way you think. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to look at how we can load drawing data in from a file, how we can do this in all sorts of different ways to improve the quality of both our Python skills and the quality of our drawing. Hope it's been helpful. Do work through the resources on either compete.co.uk or live.co.uk. All the best. See you next time.